Hey, Care Partners, Teresa Youngstrom, Memory Care with Teresa. I'm so glad you came back. This is so exciting. We're into episode 14 and we got lots of stuff to cover today because something we may not really think about, but is very important to cover is how about just general home safety when you're caring for someone in your home? And this is something that you have to repeat, and I'll say it again later, because as your loved one, um, as they have brain changes, we'll have to up our game as far as how safe things are in the house. It's similar to when you start caring for a grandbaby or something. And when they're not walking, well, not as big a deal, but they start walking. And next thing you know, they start being able to use their hands to get into cabinets and things. So as our brain declines and we lose some safety awareness, it's so important just to talk about it. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about safety in the home. All right, so let's get started. So yeah, I'm just excited you're here. I can't believe we're on episode 14. It's so exciting. So something that really is a problem in the home is fall risks. And, I've had to accept that people are going to fall. I just want to do everything in my power, though, to try and prevent it if we can. So people are going to fall. But what can we do in the home to prevent as much as we can? So it is important. The house doesn't have to be spick and span, but it is important that we at least have a pathway. Okay, so clutter can get us in trouble. Throw rugs get us in trouble. And, sometimes our kids gift us with these beautiful, thick, fluffy throw rugs for the bathroom or the bedroom. But boy, those can really cause trouble. We also need to make sure that rugs don't slip and slide. And so securing them to the floor is also important, but having a very low mat is very, very important. There comes a time sometimes when we're shuffling our feet that the rugs may just be better off not there. And I can't tell you, even at my dad's, how many times I've picked up rugs and seen them there again. The other thing is, if you have someone whose home is very, very clean and they're laundering those rugs, guess what? The back of those rugs where it's supposed to keep them from slipping around, yeah, that's gone. And then they are slipping around, and that can really cause a fall. So if we're talking about preventing falls, let's maybe reduce the throw rugs, get rid of the throw rugs. The other thing is extension cords are a problem, but oxygen tubing is a problem. If your loved one, or maybe their spouse who doesn't have dementia, maybe they are on oxygen. And you know how it works. You have a machine, a concentrator for the oxygen, and they're noisy. And so we put them in one room in the house and we run this cord, 50, feet of cord through the house. Huge fall risk. And I have to tell you a story that the woman needed the oxygen. Her husband had the dementia, and he just got quite irritated to stepping over that oxygen. And one day he just thought to himself, well, I can fix that. And he went and got a pair of scissors and he snipped her oxygen. So got tired of stepping over that. So it was probably time for us to bring in more help or think about maybe it was time for another arrangement. But stuff like that can happen. So oxygen tubing is another huge fall risk and inconvenience in the house. How about medications in the home? Early on, folks tend to manage their meds well, but as we decline, we may not remember if we took our medicine. There are Medisets that, the Monday through Friday, sometimes you have them once a day, twice a day, up to 4 times a day, and those can help. But eventually that tool may not be enough. They do make programmable, they're kind of expensive, but medication dispensers, and you can load them up and it'll beep and dispense the medicine to let your loved one know it's time to take a medicine. Pretty cool. But I've also had folks that I've cared for who then that ringing didn't mean anything to them. It didn't trigger them to think, aha, I need to take my medicine. So it's trial and error like everything else we do in my area of work when we're dealing with dementia. We know there's more than 120 different types of dementias out there. I'm sure there are more. We can get combinations, mixed pictures of different dementias. All right. And the thing is, it's progressive. It's chronic and it's declining. And so we frequently have to go back and reevaluate how we're doing and notice, are there medications on the floor? Is the dexterity poor? Maybe we are not being able to take them well. And how do we come up with a new plan? And probably it's going to mean someone coming in and dispensing those medicines. So securing the medicines is so important. Even vitamins, you can overdose on certain vitamins. Some are water soluble, but some are not, and so we can overdose even on vitamins. I also think it's important to be up on dates of medicines. I know in caring for people for a long time that I've had older residents and clients who don't throw anything away. They're frugal. They've lived through very hard times and they're going to be frugal. And so to throw away a medication, even though they don't take it anymore, that can be really difficult for them. So you're going to need a plan on how to stay up on the medicines, how to dispose what's outdated for sure, and make sure that we don't have medicines there that they can get themselves in trouble with. Maybe we just have today's little opening dispenser of just today's medicines, and so that we can't get in too much trouble. And then we'll progress out of that. But look for outdated medicines too, for sure. How about smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors in the home? These are great, but they also need batteries changed. Now, I know we're hardwiring some of them in, which is really cool, but some of our older homes don't have that. And unfortunately, the one in the basement is not connected to the one upstairs in the kitchen. And so one could independently be going off for a problem, and we don't always know until we have a bigger problem. So definitely we need to change those batteries on a schedule, all right, and keep up on that. How about firearms in the home? It's just important to stay up on that, and it is important to secure firearms, or at least remove all the ammunition. All right. If there's no ammunition, less likely to get us in trouble. But, being forgetful, being paranoid and suspicious, and all of a sudden I think someone's coming in my house and I forget that that's when you come in to care for me, and accidents happen. So securing firearms in locked boxes, and they make all kinds of great things for this, or just removing it. Can you use the excuse of, that gun needs to be cleaned? We got to clean those frequently. I'm happy to go take that to be cleaned for you. And maybe then it becomes in your possession for a while. But firearms, matches, lighters, cigarettes, things like that, we're doing really great on fewer and fewer smokers, but there still might be lighters in the home. I have lighters in my home. We've never smoked, but there are candles. There are, mosquito candles outside, torches, and then, you might light a fire to roast marshmallows outside. So it's not unusual to have lighters in the home. But if you have someone who is struggling with brain failure, we're going to have to make sure that they're kept in a particular place. It may just be up high. It may be a secured drawer, but it's just good to consider that. Okay. As far as locks on interior doors. So you might think about that bathroom door, that bedroom door that has locks on the interior side, because there have been times, and I've had clients that lock themselves in a room and they can't understand the instruction to unlock the door. I've climbed in a window or two, just saying. But you do what you have to do, because they weren't trying to lock themselves in there. It was just a habit, but then the brain couldn't find the method to unlock the door. So sometimes we just put handles on the door that you might have for a closet door or something. It opens and closes, but it's not going to be able to lock. Or maybe we turn the locks around. But I just think making sure you don't have locks on interior side of doors, like bathrooms, like bedrooms, and places where folks can get themselves in a bad situation. So consider deadbolts. If you're worried that someone might leave the home, they make all kinds of great. Simply Safe and other companies that do alarms in your home, they make all kinds of things these days to know if a front door opens, a garage door opens, a basement door opens. We have great security like that you can even get notified at your home. If you're a dad's home, if a door's been opened in the middle of the night, you can get notified. And sometimes then there are cameras on those, in those locations, so you can see actually what's going on. I'll never forget being in church one day, and a lady in front of me pulled out her phone, and she's watching her phone, and she was a friend. I tapped her and I said, "What are we watching?" And she said, "Well, I have an aunt that we care for, and 95% of the time she'll open the door and just look out." And they're trying to let her, be as independent as she could. They had names and phone numbers of the neighbors on each side who were willing to call them or check on her if needed. But she was just watching to see, was she going to go out or just going to stand there and look outside? And she did. She turned around and closed the door. So very interesting. But that's how she used a safety tool to the best of her ability. It allowed her aunt to still be independent, but then she could call for help next door should she leave the home, and they needed to assess that. So so consider locks. What's interesting when it comes to people living with dementia is that they frequently don't look up and they don't look down. And so to have a secured lock high or low on that basement door, things like that, that garage door, that sometimes is an easy fix. So you're going to have to get creative. And with their situation, I've told you before, you've met one person with dementia. Well, you've met one person. But I want you to think about these safety things, how to secure doors or maybe not allow doors to be secured. But having things above and below eye level is a great way to secure things without going to much trouble or much expense. It's interesting that having just celebrated the 4th of July, I was meeting with a husband whose wife has dementia, and they went to see the fireworks. And he said, "What is it about they don't tend to look up?" And it was true that she had a hard time looking up. She'd have been better maybe lying on a blanket or something like that, but to look up and look at the fireworks straight up in the sky was very, very challenging. So don't make them do anything that's uncomfortable, but that's just something that may come along and happen with your loved one, possibly. How about in the kitchen? So securing cleaning products is really, really important. And you can get those cabinet door latches. They have all kinds of cabinet door latches available these days. And I think we use them for our toddlers as much as we use them for folks that are forgetful, to keep things safe. And frequently we can say, "I know the grandkids are getting in there. We've got to secure all these cabinets." And we don't make it her fault or his fault that we have to secure these cabinets. It's for the grandkids, right? And so we don't make them feel bad about that. But it is important because there are poisons under there, things that can make them very, very sick. I walked into a home one day, and a woman was making a pitcher like that might have Kool-Aid or iced tea or lemonade. And it was green, and it was Miracle-Gro, but it sure looked like green Kool-Aid. And I'm thinking, holy tamales, somebody could really get hurt if you drink Miracle-Gro. So again, the family was like, "Oh my goodness, who would have thought that that would be something that would be dangerous for her?" All right. So be careful of products in the home. How about we remove artificial decorations like I don't think a lot of you have artificial fruit on your table. That's from times past. But just so you know, that may be something they could get themselves in trouble with. And later in the disease, sensory wise, when my vision's not great and my smell's not great, I want to touch stuff, and then I want to taste stuff too. So I'm going to be putting a lot of things in my mouth just to check it out and see if it is edible or it's not edible. And or the other thing is having lots of food available, like bowls of grapes on the table. I've had other residents and clients who have no fill spot, and they eat and eat and eat and eat. And if it's available, they're going to eat it. So just something to consider. But anything that could be mistaken as food should probably be removed. Okay. How about pet food? How about pet food? Yeah, because doesn't a lot of it looks like people food these days, especially treats, bacon treats and whatever. So how about we secure those things too? Just food for thought, actually, to get those things out of sight or out of reach. Stove knobs are important too. And I know some people who just unplug the stove completely, um, at the electrical source so that it can't be used. Some of you have the knobs that are on the back near the wall, which is great. They're less accessible, but it doesn't mean they might not get a wild idea to use it. And so there have been times when people take the knobs off of the stove and that daggone thing is still broken. We're waiting for the repair guy. I'll call him again today. I'm glad you told me about that. It's aggravating, isn't it, when you can't get things fixed and we blame it on that guy out there somewhere. Don't don't finger wag them down telling them, well, you can't, you're a danger to yourself and blah. No, 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 no. We never do that. We love these people. We join them on the journey. Encourage. We're encouragers. Okay. We don't need to do anything to make it more scary or frightening in their mind. It's frightening and scary enough, trust me. So remove appliances that they might get shocked or burned on. There's a time and a place for a toaster, and some folks, if that toaster, if they've been using for a long time, they have a good routine and a good memory of using that toaster. But for other people, it may not be the same. And also, you well-meaning kids, don't buy them new appliances. You know what? If that old coffee maker works, leave it. Leave it. Don't get them the new microwave if the old one still works well. Learning how to use new appliances is so difficult when I have dementia. But if I've been using that coffee maker for 5, 10 years, either that or buy one exactly like it if you can. But I would not be buying a new one if it's not broke. Don't fix it. All right, we cause trouble like that. We replace their appliances and then they can never learn how to use it. It's like getting them the new flat screen TV with all the remote controls. No, 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 no. That old TV might be just what they need. All right, so I wouldn't be changing remotes or anything like that. But let's remove any appliances that could shock them or burn them, that aren't necessary. That's important with someone's confused. Okay, let's see here. In the bathroom. Bathroom's a terrible place to fall because there are so many hard things, not just a floor. What else can you hit your head on in a bathroom or break your hip on? Yeah, toilets are really hard. Bathtubs, sinks, vanities. We can really get ourselves in a lot of trouble falling in the bathroom. So non-skid mats are great, especially in the shower area. A lot of people are going to showers late in the game and not doing bathtubs, switching those out. It's fine to have a safety handrail to, if they are still getting into a bathtub, they have something to hold on to and secure them. I like handrails in the shower area, in the bathtub area, but I don't love the ones that are just like supposed to vacuum seal on there. You turn a lever and get it to stick on there. They're just not secure enough, guys. And they're going to fall counting on that to hold them steady as they wash, their heel or something. And then that gives way and bam, they're down. So I think they need to be installed properly. Otherwise, we probably shouldn't use them. They may be a bigger problem. But there are lots of different types of safety rails that you can install these days. And so I would definitely look into that. I like night lights. I think that's always a good idea to have in hallways. Sometimes in the bedroom, it becomes appropriate to have a night light. If it's casting shadows and that's upsetting, then evaluate that and make a good decision about that. But if you have folks that are getting up and heading down the hall to the bathroom, whatever, it's nice to have night lights that come on all by themselves. I would remove anything from the bathroom that's electronic, like a hairdryer, curling iron, anything that they can get shocked with. Let's remove that. And I'll tell you what's really important is any wipes that are in the bathroom better be to wipe their body, not to clean things, because you'll have individuals reaching in to grab a wipe, cleaning wipe, a disinfectant wipe, and they may decide to use that on a part of their body, which would not be good. Okay, so let's make sure that cleaning supplies are kept where cleaning supplies should be, and that wipes in the bathroom, maybe on the back of the toilet or something, that those are, if they're flushable wipes or whatever, maybe they're not, the trash can's there. But I'm just saying, don't leave cleaning wipes out where they can be confused. That will get you in hot water and get you in trouble. Let's see here. I think colored grab bars are a great idea too. Maybe colored grab bars by the toilet. I like that, but I do like them secured and bolted into the wall, or have them professionally done. You can get raised toilet seats that still have the arms on each side so that mom or dad or your spouse can push up using those, and they can be elevated so they don't have to sit down so far. So it's not so difficult getting back to a standing position. Those are a great idea too. So think about that. Shower benches, I didn't mention that. That's something, they actually, and they make benches that actually go, like, say it is a tub, but they're going to shower in there. Maybe they've got a handheld on the shower attachment, handheld shower attachment, so they can sit while they shower and wash themselves up. And for folks that are not good or safe, stepping over the edge of the tub, maybe what we do is put a towel down on this long this bath bench, and it actually runs from inside the tub to a foot or so outside the tub. They can actually get seated and then scoot themselves in and raise their legs up and over the rail in a seated position, much less likely that they're going to fall in that situation. There are times when you can help slide them in too if they're on a towel, but do that, give them a heads up what you're planning to do. We don't want to frighten anybody as we're doing that. But I love the handheld shower attachments so that they can be seated while they're doing this. Or, in the beginning, maybe the shower chair's there, and maybe he doesn't need the shower chair initially, but it's good to know that if he does get tired, the shower chair is there. You can sit down, and there's a grab bar there too to help him get seated or stand back up. But colored ones are really cool because it will, if everything's just white or if everything's just gray, my vision is challenged. I'm not going to have any glasses on in there. Maybe I don't even have any glasses anymore. But I may have a hard time finding these resources if I can't even see them. Okay, again, rugs on the floor. I know I already said it, but I'm saying it again because it's worth repeating. Rugs cause so many falls, especially in the bathroom. I would say remove them. Okay, remove them, or at least make them very flat, low nap, and they are secured so they're not going to be slipping around. Have you thought about using a baby monitor? Like, I know in my mom's home, it was a long ranch home, and it was nice to be able to see or hear when she was awake, when she was calling out, because maybe we wouldn't have heard her calling out. And then she would get so worked up and upset before we'd realize that she was back there in need. And so having the baby monitor was really a great thing for us. You got to really look at the specifics about the distance that, you can have the receiver and the camera. Some of them have audio. Some of them just have the camera, but some of them you can talk through. And with the one we had, I could actually talk to her from the kitchen and, good morning. Good morning, Mama. It's Teresa. Hey, I'm on my way back. And so, I could give her some comfort to know we are paying attention and we're on our way. So check that out. Just like I said, check out the specifics so you know exactly what you're getting. Let's talk about, how about those car keys now? I know this becomes more and more of an issue. There are companies out there that can come to your home and sit and visit and learn about your mom or dad's situation or your spouse. And they can actually then take if they feel like your loved one is capable enough to go out and drive the car, you can pay them to do a driving test with them, just driving to their 3 closest favorite spots. So that is available in Cincinnati. I don't know if it's available where you're watching this from, but there are companies that will do that. Remember, I don't want you just to come in and take the keys and say, that's it, we're done, you're not driving. Listen, you want to damage a relationship with somebody? That would be top of the list, probably. We can do a lot of things better than that. We can disable cars. Depends on the individual. If they're a mechanic, pulling the plug on the battery is not going to help you much. So I would say we have to do something a little bit more than that. But how about when we think about um, in the garage and all, let's keep the garage door and the basement door secured. We want to prevent falls. Let's secure those. We need to think about where the power tools are, the fertilizers and other chemicals, and keep those out of reach. Okay, keep them out of reach. And then how about space heaters, electric blankets, things like that? We've got to be careful with those things too, because those are things maybe you didn't think about that can get us in trouble. Space heaters, maybe they don't realize that there's a filament in there that could be dangerous. They might drop a towel on it, and then we're in deep trouble. So let's just be really careful using those type of things in the home. Last but not least, I want you to think about making sure the power of attorney paperworks are done. You need power of attorney. It's going to be financial and healthcare. Have those done, have them available, have the living will signed and available. Make sure you have those powers of attorneys notarized. Okay. And advance directives. Those need to be available to you. I like to have advance directives on the refrigerator and in my purse, so I have it available if I'm caring for somebody. And you should have the current medication list too. All right, hopefully not overwhelming you. Last but not least, let's repeat these walkthroughs. All right, as they decline, I think every 3 to 6 months we do another walkthrough. We check these safety things again. In your situation, you'll have other things to check, because we're talking about individuals. We're talking about your loved one. But hopefully I gave you some ideas of what we're looking for to keep them safe in their home as long as they can be and as they decline. So we're going to double check things and go reevaluate as time goes by. All right. Again, I'm Teresa Youngstrom. It's a privilege to be here with you. My company is A Better Approach to Memory Care. We're keeping the podcast there, but you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. And I just sincerely hope that you will like and subscribe, and that you'll share so that we can get this information out to everybody who's in need of it and try and keep you all safe. All right. Thanks so much. You got this.